What's up, everybody? Thank you guys so much for being here. Yeah, man, it's been wild. I got a new router last week. I don't know if you guys know, it was a mess, man. As if it's not, like, anyway, but Buff was on location from a private island hotel coming into us live from his room, and then I had a router die, and most of the viewers didn't come back. So I purchased a new router, dipped into the chicken nugget fund. We got a new router, and hopefully it'll hang on. Buff, what's up, man? How you doing?
I am very well. I ended up doing this. I got a new router myself a couple weeks back. During all my tech issues, that was one of my last ditch efforts to try and solve the issues. So we both got new routers. So we should have super internet now.
These routers are just going to be routing like crazy.
Oh yeah, so much routing is going to happen.
How you doing, man?
I'm good. Just got back from the gym a little bit ago. Started my show prep today. So excuse me if I'm eating my delicious chicken and green beans. I know everyone's jealous with this 5-star gourmet meal I got going on here, but doing that. Been playing some DMZ. Had a hell of a crazy games last night with this Justin and man named Nobody. So I think we're the PvP kings of DMZ. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Me and Ham.
How about you? How you doing?
Me and Ham will come after you. I'm doing all right, man. Justin, thank you for the super chest, dude. Don't talk crap about my hat. If you guys, the podcast listener, I am wearing my Denver Broncos hat. Finished the season on a win. Brought the total season win to 5. Big whopping 5 dubs. And I actually joke around with my friends that I wear my Broncos hat so people feel sorry for me. Like, you should just feel bad. Oh, it's the little Broncos fan. Let me hold the door for him, stuff like that. So that's why I wear it. But yeah, big Broncos fan. Terrible season. How do you do that, man? Like, prepping for a show and like changing the diet like that. Like, I go to the gym all the time and work out, but I am hopelessly addicted to carbs, man. I can't stop it. How do you do it?
Oh man. A lot of discipline. I remember when I first started, like, for my first bodybuilding show back in 2013, it was like a really big struggle for the first like couple weeks to break that, your lifelong normal eating habits Took me a couple weeks to like get out of that and the cravings and stuff, but once you get over that hump and you get into like a healthier habit, it's just kind of been, it's really easy. Typically I eat really healthy, but I'm in that, I like switched my whole mindset back then, but I do enjoy to indulge in my off season as of late. So the good thing is I've done it before, so I know exactly like to the T the amount of protein, carbs, and fats I need to
That's cool.
get shredded in 6 weeks. So
That's cool. I have the hardest time with figuring like out like how much of what I'm supposed to eat, because I'm just built different, I guess, because I'm like such a big dude. I'm not like super fat, but I weigh 300. I'm 6'6" and 350 pounds. So it's like, but I'm not like super fat. So it's like hard to like if I go and look for like a normal 2,000 calorie diet, like I am going to literally pass out. Like
wither away and die.
Yeah, I'm dead. So I have the hardest time with that. But and then yeah, I hope everything goes all right today. The show's gonna be pretty fun. It's gonna be a quick shots episode, as you can tell. So you're gonna be hearing a lot of this. Everybody get excited. I might put on the cowboy hat, I might not.
That's my favorite sound, honestly.
Dude, I've been up since like 6 a.m. too, so good luck everybody. I got up, I had to go out and work in the field today and measure some rivers. So I've been like out and about and driving around since like 6. And then I also scratched my nose. I was climbing a stream bank and like a twig went in my eye and scratched my nose. And the makeup team, it's kind of in the shit house too with the production team. The makeup team didn't even get this when I was in makeup before we went live. They didn't even cover up my scratches on my nose. It's terrible.
You honestly can't even see it. It looks like a shadow. You can barely see it.
If I do that, yeah.
Barely. It's barely noticeable.
So I'm also, not only am I looking for a new production team, I'm also going to be looking for makeup artists. So you guys are into that. We'd love to have you here on the program. But yeah, man, it's been wild. The weekend with gaming. This weekend I actually had some friends out and we went deer hunting and we were able to get a couple deer. So that was pretty cool. I was able to harvest a deer with my suppressed lever action. So that was really neat.
Nice.
And got her all processed and the meat all ready and stuff to eat. That's what I had last night with some fresh venison. So that was pretty cool. And then played some games. Dude, the DGens in multiplayer chat in S&D, it's getting worse. Like it's getting worse. Like how people talk.
Shadow ban up?
My shadow. Oh yeah. Okay. Last week I was shadow banned. No, now I'm good. I'm out of shadow ban jail. Justice has been served. I need to thank everyone in the hashtag free crash movement. We're back. I'm in normal people lobbies again, and it is nice. It's a lot nicer playing search and destroy.
Besides the comms, apparently,
dude,
right?
These people, they talk to other people like that. I can't believe how people are. So like, I like intelligent trash talking. Like at the end of a game, a lot of times people will be like, "Get out of my lobby," and it's like, dude, the game's over. We're all leaving the lobby. Like, and I just like make like screw with people like that. And then the people that like go outside and touch grass or something, like it's like, dude, it's 11 p.m. It's dark outside. Like I just love screwing with people. But we had a game. It was 6v5. We were down a person. And it was a really close game. And we lost by 1 round. We lost 5-6. And I was like, man, good job, guys. Like, really good game at the end. And I was like being super nice. I was like, you guys played well. Great game. And this guy just laid into me, dude. Like, I hope you don't wake up in the morning, go kill yourself. Like all this stuff. I'm like, what? Like, I mean, and it's all like that. Like I'm out there trying to spread kindness, and this guy, and I was like, no, actually what I'm probably going to do, I'm probably going to go to bed and forget this ever happened. That's what my plan is. So yeah, dude, it's getting worse. I don't know.
I really haven't been playing any multiplayer. I've just been on the DMZ train. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely toxicity there too. Usually, I'd say like when I have proxy chat on, normally you talk to people and they're like really friendly. But sometimes you get like, we had a couple bad games where like teams just came after us and we're like, yeah, fuck you. Like there was like a team of 6 camping the last extract, like the very final one. and it was out on the boat that in the harbor area. And so there's literally like one way out there is a small bridge, and they were all just extra camping it hard. And they killed Justin and I. So there's two of us, and there's like 6 or more of them. And they're like, "Yeah, you guys suck. You know, f you," and calling us names. I'm like, dude, what? Like, it's the final extra. What are you doing? Like, just sick of you guys camping this, and we're coming in saying friendly, friendly, friendly. So after that, I mean, we've had some people like shit talk us. So, I mean, last night I think we all had enough, and we were just like, we're killing everybody. So we did just that. I think we killed every player in the lobby a couple times. So, you know, that's the beauty of like, that's what I like about DMZ is like the proxy chat. If someone's toxic, you're like, well, you're gonna have fun going back to the lobby in 2 seconds. It's good stuff. But yeah, people COD community is so toxic, dude. Especially like the line go outside and touch grass. It's like, man, like, do you just read every tweet from Charlie Intel? Like, come up with something more original. Jesus.
Yeah. I like it when they start like listing off all these like sayings that everybody says, like, you're dog water, get good, get shit on, like all this stuff. And it's like, my buddy Ham will be like, have you been practicing that? Like, do you have a note on your like sticky note on your monitor that you practice all these things?
Just
like,
on Twitter all day long.
Have them ready to go.
Reading posts from people. Yeah. So ridiculous. Like, come up with your own insult, for God's sakes. I remember back in the original Modern Warfare 2, 2009, I think all we had was Facebook then, right? So it's just like, you know, my shit talk game was strong, and you actually had to like come up with the insults and not, you know, reiterate what your favorite streamer or Twitter account was saying. So, you know.
Yeah.
And now nobody needs to think for themselves anymore. It's a beautiful thing. I
love
you're experiencing that in your chats.
Yeah. I love the like the actual intelligent funny trash talk though. And it's like just randomly somebody says something mean and you're like, dude, I bet you have such a low credit score. Like just the most random weird burns and stuff. It's so funny. I don't get where people, I mean, do what?
I was gonna say the good old like witty banter
that's what I like. That's what's really fun. And then it just like as soon as you stump them, like as soon as you like get them where they don't have a comeback, it's just transphobic, racial, just trash. It's like you gotta mute everybody because it's like
you can typically tell like the intelligence level when they start they instantly go to like racist. It's like what are you talking about, dude?
Yep.
We were playing with one of our community members, I think I forgot where he's from, somewhere in the EU. And they were like, oh, you like saying racial stuff about Mexicans. And he's like, I'm not even Mexican. And it's like, you guys got wrecked and you're just like going to racial slurs. It's like, Jesus, like, I'm sorry you didn't graduate middle school, but come on now.
My favorite part is like when I talk and say something like great round or something, and the guys are like, dude, you sound so fat. And I'm like, how can you even know by listening to a person's voice if they're fat? Like it's so weird. I don't get it.
Yeah.
And then I'll ask him that, and then it goes downhill. It goes downhill. Like nothing ever good comes from it. And then at the end I'm like, well, I hope you have a great evening and a great weekend. And then they don't know what to do.
Just get so pissed off. It was funny the other day. I was doing DMZ with Man Named Nobody, and this solo was pushing us, and we had proxy on. And we're like, dude, we don't need to fight. Like, and send him invites. Didn't say a word, and then like he kept coming after us, and we killed him. He still didn't say a word, and like after we downed him and killed him, he like swears at us and leaves, and it's like, dude. Like what? He said like you suck, like bitch or something like that. It's like we tried to talk it out and send you invites and you didn't say a word with proxy on the whole time, and then you insult us because you lost a gunfight. Like,
yeah.
It's on you, dude.
That's the other thing too. In man, you get everything in S&D, dude. I'm like we need new maps in COD so bad, but I'm still like listening to people. It's been fascinating to study how like dumb people are in that, because like the other thing is like you'll have a close match and they won't say anything until like the last round when they win. Right. Because they're scared they're going to lose. And then at the end, they're like, oh, you suck. You're trash. And I'm like, good game. Like, good job. And like, oh, you're terrible. I'm like, you won a video game match that no one's going to remember in 10 seconds. Like, good job, man. Like, good job. It's great. I love it. I love it.
Good,
People are awesome.
good. Yeah, it's good stuff, man. COD community is really, really mature. It's good stuff.
Yeah, they're pretty amazing. Um,
Very unique.
so yeah, I think that's what we've all been up to. So today's episode, we're putting it together, and it seems like there's just like a lot of little topics all around like the industry to talk about. So everyone's favorite segment of the show anyway is the quick shot episode where we cover short, faster stories. So we have a lot of them. Everybody get excited. Today's episode is all about the quick shots. You ready for the first one?
I'm ready.
It kind of ties into what we're talking about. But I wanted to talk about the state of Call of Duty real quick before we get into it. I have a clip or two to show about what I've been experiencing. But yeah, I know you wanted to talk a little bit about DMZ and also Building 21. Maybe a cheat, potentially, allegedly. Okay, a cheater problem, maybe.
Yeah, I can maybe send you the clip on Discord. I don't know if you'll even be able to show it here, but I'll send it regardless so you can watch it later. But it's kind of a crappy clip because I took it off I just like recorded my software off my phone or on my phone, so it's a thing I put on from my phone. But the cheating has been like Building 21 yesterday. Justin and I, and we took one of his buddies into Building 21 for the first time, and like we were pretty geared up and stuff. And this dude just blatant hardcore wall hacking and aimbot, and just like comes around, like sprints around the corner. We're holding positions, and like I doubt his buddy, and he just like snaps onto my head, like twitch, snapping everywhere, snaps onto me and kills me when I'm down, and like runs out. And it was just so ridiculous. And I've seen a few of that in regular Amazra and DMZ and Warzone, and I've seen it a couple times at Building 21. So it's just like super sketchy. And sometimes you get a lot of like sketchy, you get killed oddly and it doesn't give you a kill cam. I noticed that in Warzone too, and it's like, well, that was a really sketchy way I just died, and it's even weirder that there's no kill cam for some reason. So I don't know what's up with that. I hope the anti-cheat, I mean, to be fair, I think it's relatively really, really good. But when Building 21, I mean, that's something, what we did for that yesterday is like, it took us like, we played like Almaz or DMZ for a couple hours to get, our stuff, all of our weapons back, get 3-plate carriers, gas masks, stem pistols, and get his, Justin's buddy geared up and ready to go too. And then we took him away for the first time, and 2 minutes in, we run into a hacker, just hardcore hacking. So it's just like, cool. We just played for a couple hours to get ready for this, and we just lost everything instantly to a hacker. Great.
Yeah.
Really, really frustrating.
That sucks. It's like Tarkov too. That's why Tarkov cheaters are so frustrating, is because that when you die in there, you lose everything. I don't think it's quite as bad in DMZ to lose. Well, I mean, you probably have some key cards and stuff that's pretty brutal to lose. Then you're starting over.
Yeah,
with
but you
your
can get a lot of that back pretty easily. I think it's just it's more frustrating because it's like you really can't go in Building 21 without 3 plates and your weapon in a self revive. So when that happens, you're like, Jesus, okay, well now we can't go back in. We need to go get like 3-plate carriers and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's like rough, but not quite as rough as Tarkov. Like if you have like your last flash drive or a GPU, or you get killed by a cheater, it's like, it's like instantly stop playing and do something else 100% of the time. It hurts really bad. So I'm just at the point where I've been playing a decent amount of multiplayer still. Still having fun with my friends on Search and Destroy, just the competitive teamwork, tacticalness of it. But I'm just becoming painfully aware of like how far on the back burner multiplayer is for Infinity Ward. Like no new maps, and we still have another month like on the battle pass, so that's presumably when we're gonna get season 2. It's just like,
I think it's February 1st, I think is the confirmed date, and for season 2.
I think there's like there's like a comparable number to previous Call of Duties as far as like multiplayer map counts goes, but just the diversity is so lacking because most of them, like a decent amount of them, are just cut up from Al Mazrah. So it's like the
Right.
settings and stuff are so bland. Like you're in a desert, like like it feels like 80% of the maps, and then you have a couple maps that are like Farm 18 and stuff that are kind of like their own standalone thing. But dude, like the maps are getting pretty bland to play. And we started backing out of the border crossing one because of the exploding cars. Like
Oh yeah, I can
can't do
see,
it, dude.
especially in search. I can
Dude,
see in search that's really bad. Yeah.
because you know why? Every single round the cars reset.
Oh
So
my god.
so
That's
basically
terrible.
what teams are doing in there is a couple of them will have javelins, and then they'll have the perk with extra lethals and restock, and they'll just sit in the back of the map and throw nades and throw javelins and blow up cars and kill everybody. And it's like I can't
Even just like
do it.
spamming a grenade, underslung grenade launcher.
Yeah.
Like that'll blow a car up too. Yeah, that's wild. That's tough because I'm sure the objectives are in the middle of the car, so it's you have to go.
Yeah.
You can't just stay on the outside. You have to be in the center.
Yeah, you have to pretty much go in there. But what's really funny is like everybody, like a lot of people in search have their open mics. So you'll get into the lobby and you'll hear the other team like, "Oh, back out, not this map." And like everybody's doing it. It wouldn't be that bad if they made the cars like not renew every round at S&D, or just be exploded from the beginning, or just be inert, like, and then fighting through those cars and stuff would be kind of fun. But yeah, multiplayer is in bad need of maps, and I'm sure the reasoning is like a lot of the developers are on leave for holidays or whatever, but some of the bugs are just still chilling. Like they've been there a long time. Like I don't know if you have this on console, but when people talk, you know how it shows their names, like red or white, depending if they're on your team, it shows their name on the screen. If you're playing multiplayer, your first match, whoever's names pop up, stay there the rest of the time you play. So you restart your game. So the names are like always on your screen.
Yeah, that happens on console too. Like in DMZ, if I have proxy on, I'll get names stuck there until I restart the game. Yep, same thing.
Literally unplayable. I'm kidding. It's not that bad, but it's like, to like a semi OCD person, like it's a little annoying to have that on your screen all the time.
It's definitely tough because I'm like, is that person? Because I forget what the people. I don't pay attention to what anyone's names are. So I'm like, and I won't. It's like small and it's on the left hand side of the screen on console. I'm sure it's the same with you, because I mean, at least that's where it is in DMZ. So like sometimes I'll be playing and I'll be like, is this actual proxy going on right now, or is this stuck there for the last game?
And then in S&D, if you're playing with randos, you have no idea which one of them's talking, because like the names are from like 4 games ago. So you have to be looking at the scoreboard when they talk. So I guess it's more of an issue than I thought. But like, yeah, you have to be looking at the scoreboard to see where the microphone lights up to see what's up. And it's just, there's a lot of stuff like that. And I'm still of the opinion that this game has some of the worst netcode like of any shooter in a long time, like rivaling the Battlefield releases, just from like packet loss. And like with my NetDoomer router, when you connect, you can see like tick rates and ping and stuff like all over the place, and all that stuff. Like, it's not good.
That's annoying. And I think I'm looking at it this way, is like everyone really just got back from vacations last week and this week, really. So all that stuff that we saw for season 1 was pre-planned and ready to go a long time ago. And I think it was mostly on like an automated, they would launch it. It was probably on an automated schedule, so the times and all that stuff would launch. Very manual work. So I think what we'll be seeing for season 2 is definitely more multiplayer maps and things like that, because I'm sure they've already been working on those prior to the holiday. But I think their main focus, I think, going into the holiday season was getting the game, getting Warzone out, getting DMZ out, and all that stuff, so everyone could go on vacation. The game was at least in like a think about a couple years ago, the Cold War launch. They left us with that DMR Mac 10 meta for like 3 months, and they dumped that on us right before the holidays, and they were just gone. And it was terrible. So I think it sounds like that was their main concern, is making sure everything's in a good balance mostly playable state. Come back for the holidays last week, and in like this week now, people are probably still rolling back into the office. So I would expect a lot more, hopefully, multiplayer maps. But I hear what you're saying is, the maps we got last time, I think we got Shipment and Shoot House, but those were like easy, right? I think those were easy maps for them to put in
They're
just
from
quickly.
29. They're the
Yeah,
Shipments Forever 2019 had.
yeah, it's been there forever. Yeah, exactly. And Shoot House. But the one thing, I mean, I would really like to see more maps ported over from like campaign, honestly. I think the campaign had some really cool maps I would like to see work their way in as well, which I don't really think we've. Are there any multiplayer maps from the campaign? I really don't think so off the top of my head, right?
Not that I can think of.
Which is strange because 2019 had some from the campaign at least. So I'd like to see more of that. I think that would be really cool and mix it up. Hopefully that's what's up for season 2. We'll have to wait. I think season 2 is going to be really telling about the future, about like especially the content, what they bring in with it, because you got to get. I think the lull and everything is obviously due to the holidays. But is it? We'll see.
I don't know. I guess it's been a harsh reality for me because this is the first COD I've gotten into the multiplayer in a while.
Right.
And it just feels like multiplayer is strictly the place to work on camo challenges. So you have everybody doing prone, you have everybody doing long shot. That's another reason I can only play S&D. That's like the only game mode that people actually play the game mode. Like all the respawn game modes, everyone's doing camo challenges, or they're just trying to level up guns for Warzone and DMZ. So, and that's like multiplayer used to be like everybody would play the match and want to win, and now it's just like it's a place for challenges and leveling up guns. Kind of a little bit sad for multiplayer fans, but S&D is still fun. People try to win and play the objective, and that's pretty fun. A lot of different ways to play is why I've been enjoying it, but I'm scared. I'm scared that more people are into DMZ, which is great. It's a definite success story, this game. And then Warzone 2 needs a lot of love. There's a lot of people kind of disenfranchised with how it's playing. I'm not even that into playing it either, with like just mainly the netcode problems for me on Warzone 2 are what's keeping me from enjoying it. And then
I haven't played in a few weeks myself.
Yeah, it's kind of whatever. There's not a lot to do in there. Like I feel kind of bad for the content creators that are like, all they have to do is chase nukes. Like that's the only content, because it's not tracking stats. So like the win grinders and stuff,
right?
Like it's not even keeping track of stats yet. So I've seen like, we're gonna try to get a nuke with every gun, or we're gonna try to get a nuke with our right arm tied to high miner back. Or like,
I see, yeah.
we're gonna try to get a nuke with blindfolded, like all this
right.
stuff. Like,
that's all I see. Yeah, it's on Twitter like every day, and for me the main thing. I mean, I really enjoyed Verdansk because the Warzone content I was able to make there, and just getting in and playing with buddies. It was early Warzone 1 had like a special feel to it. I think Warzone 2, I really, really enjoy it. But the thing that kills me is that, and we talked about it before, is that those last circle pulls are just, it makes it like, okay, we've done all this stuff and now it's just literally up to chance. Like we can't, my whole thing in Warzone 1 in the early days, especially with a lot of my content for that, was like, I'm going to outposition people is, key, because taking that mindset over from Tarkov is what I did. I was like, you always want to fire, reposition. It's all about positioning. And it worked well because the circle movements were not so drastic in that game. And then here in Warzone 2, you can do all of that, but it's all worth nothing at the end of the game, because then you got to shift all the way over 1,300 meters and you got to go through every other team, which is in buildings, instead of just a more reasonable pull. It really messes the experience up for me and makes it hard to get excited about playing, because it really, in my mind, just comes down to like pure luck in the rotations at the end.
Yep, I agree. Just real quickly, I guess since we're talking about it, and we covered DMZ and you talked about Building 21, a lot of people are digging DMZ. What do you think DMZ needs to go forward? Like, as it's a beta, like what features would you add in season 2 that would get you fired up to keep playing?
Yeah, I think the main thing is there needs to be some sort of stash. I think the weapon stash they have, the key stash is there. That's all really good. You need like a gear stash. So you need to be able to have a stash for like different plate carriers. So because you fill your backpack up with different things. Like if I were to bring out another backpack I found or a plate carrier, that's all gone when you leave the game. You don't bring that out. So if I had a stash but it should be limited, right? You shouldn't be able to hoard like 35 3 plate carriers. I think you should have a limit on certain items so I can bring out and put maybe 5 3 plates in my stash, like 6 2 plates, maybe a handful of self revives and self revive pistols, things like that to be able to bring back in because you get so much of it throughout the raid, and to not be able to bring it out and have it to go back in, it makes it tough because you can go in, you could be doing like some of your faction missions there and say you don't want to bring in your slotted weapon, and you're just like, say like the one that I just recently did was I think 28 kills on the train. I can do that with any low level gun. And let's say the game before I came out with a large backpack and a 3 plate carrier. Maybe I don't, ideally I don't want to bring that in with me on a solo run where I'm doing some missions, because if I die, I lose it. Then I got to find them again. So I think like a stash like that would be my first thing that I think is the first and most important for me.
I
I would
agree.
like to see like different missions, things like that. But I mean, the other stuff, I think if you threw out things and a chat threw out things, I would be like, oh yeah, I that's exactly what I was talking about. But the main thing that comes in my head every time is there needs to be some sort of inventory stash.
Yep, 100%. Because just like you said, when you die in building 21, it's like crap. Now we
Right.
got to go to Almazra and get gear and stuff. So what would
Hmm.
be cool is how they have it set up where building 21's live on the weekends. It's like during the week we're doing our Almazra runs, we're filling up our stash. And I like what you said, having a finite amount. You can't have like 100 vests or whatever, maybe like 5 or
Right.
10, something like a good number, if not a ton. And just like the keys have a limit,
Hmm.
on the vest and the selfs and stuff like that. So then it's like, okay, we're geared up this week, playing with your friends in the evening, and then the weekend hits, and it's like, all right, we're running building 21. So then you suit up and you go in and you die, and then you're able to keep running 21 without having to go
Yeah.
back and do all that. That would be
Exactly.
nice.
Yeah, because if you die on building 21, it's not the end of the world, but really you can I mean, you can go in if you have a colored key card, you can go in and do some 0 to heroes like pretty easily. That's not a problem. But if you don't have a key card, then I was doing some solo runs in there the other day just to see what I could do. And I mean, the AI is no joke there. Like those Shadow Company bot AI will wreck you pretty hard. If you don't have a self res, like forget it. So to be able to just, okay, we died, let's put this stuff in. All right, we get this stuff out of our inventory and go. That would just make it so much better because, like you said, and I adjusted in chat, um, when we die like that, it's like crap. Okay, well, we don't have any key cards. We got to go on a loot run. Not only do you need to go on a loot run, you need to get your 3 plate vest, ideally a backpack, self res, but you also need to get a lot of missions done and get a lot of cash and deposit them in dead drops to reduce your timer to get your slotted weapon back. So that's another thing is like, crap, we just died. Okay, we have a 2 hour cooldown, so we got to just get a crap ton of money and start depositing it in
Right.
dumpsters. So
Yeah. That I get that for sure. The other thing I've seen a lot about is a flea market, and I'm super against it. Um just because I'm not really that fired up on how it changed Tarkov. I've talked about it a little bit before, but I think it really turns the game into literally only a money generator. If you can buy anything, you get like zero hype on finding anything cool because you can just buy it.
yeah, I don't.
Um it
I
it
don't. Go ahead.
and it really rewards the players who have more time to play. One of the charming and awesome things about DMZ is it's not as hardcore as other looter shooters, where some of the best stuff you can have is a gun and a self revive and a 3 armor vest, and everybody can get that. So and you can be playing with the chads that get to play all week, they get to play every single night. So if you only get to play once
Hmm.
in a while, that's one of the coolest things about DMZ is they did it a little bit different than Tarkov, where everybody has a chance. to win
Right.
gunfights. And I really like that. And I think if you had it to where people could just grind money, you would really start to see an advantage swinging towards the people that can play more, just like in Tarkov, that has a flea market. If you can play a lot, if you have your traders unlocked, you can buy meta guns. It doesn't matter if you die. If you have, I've seen people with, 50, 60 million rubles. It doesn't matter. You just build another one.
Yeah.
You buy all the best ammo. You have the best armor, and you just
Right.
run. And then God forbid if some little Timmy's trying to do a quest and you have all these guys
Done.
that play all the time that
Done.
just roll around the map and take everybody out. So
Yeah.
I think not having a flea market is a good thing about DMZ, but I might be in the minority, but I have a whole lot of reasons, but that's the main reason.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I was gonna say, like, I don't know what I don't know what purpose the flea market would serve in DMZ, because what are you gonna buy and sell
Well,
that
the
you
other
can't find? You know,
the other thing
don't
I
know
would
what the
love to
purpose
see
would be.
The other thing I would love to see is I would love to see two things. I would love to see crafting come back that we saw in the campaign.
Yes.
Make
Yep.
more of those items worth something. And then I think
Mhm.
having lootable attachments would be really cool. So you could do
Yeah.
Zero to Hero to where like if you picked a gun up off of an AI, off Alcatala, then
Yes.
you
Yes.
could pick up, like, you find a red dot, slap it on there. And you could turn to guns and you could like start to build stuff in the game. And it would make, I'm just looking for those moments where right now, like the jumper cables and the balled water and like all
Mhm.
that stuff, it's just money. Like the name of it is meaningless. But if you had it
Right.
to where there was like only craftable items and you super needed that stuff, you would start to get those feelings like in Tarkov when you find a graphics card. Like you
Right.
find a graphic, you're like, oh shit, I got to get out of here. Like I got to be careful. And there's not a lot of that feeling. There is if you're doing a mission, but there's not a lot of that feeling in DMZ. And I think having
I
like
agree.
having crafting and then lootable attachments you could put on crappy guns
Mhm.
would be pretty cool. It'd be fun to go in with like just a pistol, take out an Alcatala, and then put their attachments on like their RPK and build a cool gun and find these attachments. And then when you start doing that, you start turning raids into like stories. And
Yeah.
that's when it gets good. Like
Right.
and you tell your buddies the next day, it's like, dude, I went into a raid in Alcatala and I took out these AI and I fought another team and I took some attachments off his gun. And like you do all this stuff and it starts to turn into like this story as it unfolds and every raid's
Yeah.
different. I would love
Yeah,
to
and
see
that's
it.
cool because it's like, okay, I found these attachments for this gun. This is actually a really good build. I'm going to start like using this. I think that's definitely a must. And Strike and Storm in chat brings up a good point too. Like things that aren't really there's no need for, and like you said, just those money items. Things that he brings up here are aspirin and bandages. And I was just having a conversation with Justin the other night. I think like I hope they do something with bandages. Like it would be cool to like aspirin and bandages to be able to apply. We've seen the bandage animation to be able
Right.
to use those somehow. If there's some sort of like health regen, they do something with that down the road. To be able to use those items would be really cool. And I do see some other chatter here in chat about the risk reward if you just have a stash full of 3 plates. And I think that's why if there is a stash, it needs to be limited per item. Like 3 plates, maybe you should only be able to be allowed 2 to 3 of those 3 plates in there. Maybe a few more 2 plates, but you shouldn't be able to have a lot of plate carriers or self-res. They should be limited, but to have a small stash of those types of things, even be able to bring out attachments to put them in your stash, I think that would be cool. And the main thing there, I mean, the gunfights I think feel really good when especially when you run into guys with 2 plates and things like that. They're easier to kill, especially with snipers. You don't want a situation where everyone on the map has 3 plates, so there's got to be a limit on things in the stash for sure. But I think like those are everything we just talked about there. I think would be a great long-term goal, and I'm definitely excited to kind of see what they do with this rumored smaller map that's coming in season 2 and the new battle royale map somewhere down the road. Are they going to bring back Verdansk to play that in DMZ? Would be fun. And also with Building 21, I think like we've already done everything to do on Building 21. We extracted the weapons case from there 6 times, more than 6 times at this point. We've just done it more times for fun. So really there's nothing else for us to do in there unless, hey, we have key cards, we're going to go in, just get more more high tier weapons, because the Shadow Company guys drop a lot of high tier weapons, so you can boost up your weapon inventory by doing that, or just we're gonna go in and kill players. It's really
Yeah.
the only thing left to do. So to add more to it would be cool.
Yeah. And the other thing you're running into is almost everybody who plays a decent amount is getting up to that 250 level cap. So it's like you're getting
Right.
a ton of XP like for no reason. So
Right.
it feels kind of lackluster at this point. Which
I just noticed that was a cap like last night. Haven't paid attention to my level at all. I'm like, oh, I'm still 250. Huh? That's got. I guess there's a cap. I didn't even notice.
Man, it must take a lot of XP to get to 251, man.
Yeah, I honestly never look at my rank. I don't even care, and I never really care. The rank is just such a weird thing to me, especially from like coming from the older Call of Duty games. It's like prestige. Like, why would I prestiged a bunch back in the day? But also there's a point where I'm like, why would I? You gotta get really bored of prestige. It's like I have everything I need, so why am I gonna prestige? But it does serve a purpose and it's fun for sure.
It doesn't mean much other than, especially with the new system, other than you just play a decent amount. Like,
yeah, it's really what it is. Yeah.
Which is weird. In Tarkov, it kind of means something. Like if you see level 40 somethings, it's like, oh,
shoot, yeah.
Because they had to do a lot to get there, but yeah, we suck at quick shots. That wasn't very quick.
It was a long shot, but I just want to add. I know we talked about really quick. I'll just to your point, the flea market, and I think the flea market there's no reason for that in DMZ. And you look at Tarkov, everything that the intricacy of Tarkov, especially just like, oh, I want to build like this really cool weapon. I don't have the trader levels, or the traders don't have it. I need to get it off the flea market. I haven't found it in raid. And you get like, you can build your weapon and then like linked search or whatever, and it'll show it in the flea market. And you can buy everything you need for the weapon that you just built. And typically the traders won't have it. So there's a purpose for it in Tarkov, I feel, whether they took it too far or not. But DMZ, there's just really no need for any sort of flea market.
And maybe if they did crafting, but even then I would argue the stuff I said earlier about how it just gives a massive advantage to people who are able to play a lot more.
Right, but I don't think there's like the depth there to warrant such a system, honestly.
Right.
Yet, I mean, who knows what they'll do with it? But Tarkov is a very, very in-depth game.
Yeah, so it's a different deal. That's why DMZ needs to go in a different direction, and I think it will. They've obviously taken, and people are like, Crash is not the same thing. Tarkov's way different. Quit comparing it to Tarkov. Well, they've obviously taken Tarkov inspiration. You can see it with some of the quests. You can see it. Building 21 essentially looks like labs. You can see it. They even call people PMCs. Like, it's like, just stop, okay? Get some help. Stop it.
Yeah,
I look forward.
Inspiration.
I look forward to your letters. So yeah, it needs to go in a different way, and I think they're smart enough to know that. I think they'll know.
Yeah, they are. I think they have a good idea where they want to go with this. I think we'll start seeing a lot in season 2.
I was going to show you. When I mentioned I had clips, it wasn't me. I actually saw this on Twitter. It was Crim6, the pro player. This is exactly what I'm talking about when I talk about how the netcode feels horrible. And this had quite a bit of traction. And of course, it had the tinfoil hats talking about skill-based hit reg.
Oh my god,
this clip is really rough. I'll just explain it really quick if you're on the podcast. Crim hears this guy coming up the ladder, and he has a RAL LMG, which even full plates is like a 3-shot kill, especially at that range. And he's shooting him as the guy climbs up the ladder, is able to pull out his AK-74 and headshot Crim6. And it started, since he's a professional player, it started this skill-based hit reg thing, which I really don't think that's happening. In this clip, you can see what I think is happening is I think the servers are still just absolute trash. I don't know if it's netcode. I don't know if it's servers. I'm not a professional. I'm a stooge. I'm an idiot on the internet. However, if you watch this clip and you watch his ping, you can see his ping dancing around. Not uncommon, not bad. Like 21 to 30 something. But right before that gunfight, what you see is the numbers always moving. Right before that gunfight, it freezes. It freezes at 21. And then after the gunfight, he dies. Then the ping starts moving again. It's like the server freezes, and all those packets, some of them made it, some of them didn't. All those packets hit, and it declared the other guy the winner.
I had a lot of those issues. I remember back in Warzone 1 initially too. It's like I could never win gunfights because every time you got into a gunfight, it seemed like this is what happened. And I will say, ladders, there's something weird with ladders, man. People, you can see it from the kill cam and also his POV here with the RAL. Like, if you've ever been watching a ladder, for some reason, people like fly up a ladder. As soon as they get to the top, they like super speed up,
Yeah.
and it's like you can't shoot them. It's crazy. There's definitely something going on specifically with like I think whatever's going on in the back end with the code animations, all that stuff. Because like people will come up a ladder and get their gun out like that all the time on
You
me.
camping ladders, Buff?
I can't do ladders. I really think there's something weird with ladders in this game specifically because that happens all the time. It happened in the last game too. Like people, if you go up a ladder on a player, I feel like you're at an advantage most of the time. It's happened to me so much. I'll be watching. I mean, he's at an on angle too, but he even pre-fires. I've been right in front of the ladder and started shooting, and the dude like does a Neo Matrix like super teleportation Goku instant transmission and kills me. I'm just like, whoa, it's so there's definitely something going on on the back, and I 100% agree. I don't know if it's the animation of the ladder and everything just not syncing up right or what, but
That's right, K-Dog. Skill-based ladders.
Skill-based ladders, dude.
Skill-based everything. It might be something. The only one thing I thought of is like that's a weird animation, and I wonder if like the hitbox decouples from like the model or something weird's going on with the hitbox while they're in that animation, maybe, or something weird. I don't know. But yeah, when you get to the top of the ladder, you're like, oh, I'm free, and you can like lunge like 6 feet forward. I get it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Weird. Yeah, you get pretty excited when you climb a ladder. Apparently, you got a little extra boost. Everybody,
yeah, I think you're like invincible or something. I don't know. I've had that happen so many times. It's crazy.
It's the ladder animation protection. Like you get spawn protection for a little bit. Like there's the ladder one.
Yeah,
it's a thing.
What it is, man.
We figured it out. Don't even worry about it. We know what's up.
Better be trending on Twitter pretty soon.
That's right. So I guess we should probably get back to actually a quick shot episode. We lied to everybody. For that, I'd like to apologize. Again, that's on the production team. Okay. The production team here is trash. They try to put together the show every week, and they tell me, they're like, Crash, this is sweet. Not a lot's going on, but there's a lot of little stories. So I think you should do a quick shot episode because everybody loves the sound. I'm like, I agree. That sounds pretty good. But we talked way too long about that. He has no idea what's going on. Production team's trash. Are you ready for the next one?
Damn right, I'm ready.
I'm going to play the sound. Up next on episode 51 of The Scope, we're going to talk about some stuff. The next thing is, it sounds like there is a new Xbox show program coming January 25th. Insider Gaming reports some rumors floating around. Crash, why should we care about an Xbox showcase? I'm going to tell you after I pour my tea. There's a couple games that are coming out for Xbox exclusivity that are shooter-like, and we're going to talk about one a little bit more in depth, and that is Redfall and Starfield. So what's going on here is the game set to be shown. Our Redfall, Forza gee, Buzz, man, maybe you should read this. Forza Motorsport and Minecraft Legends. Buff's a big Minecraft fan. ZeniMax Online Studios also expected to have stuff. One of the game that may not make an appearance is the hyped Starfield game, which I just talked about. Cool. I'm doing great. According to Corden, the Xbox Developer Direct event will be a more intimate look at some upcoming exclusives. Starfield, he says, might not be shown, save for a larger scale event. It's an excuse to talk about Starfield. Starfield looks absolutely wild. But yeah, we could see a little bit more about Redfall and Starfield coming up then. And then I have some more information about Redfall. Are you looking forward to either one of those, Buff?
Starfield, I mean, I'm like interested. And honestly, Redfall, I haven't really seen anything about it. So that's one of those things where I could potentially get into them and play them like partially. Regardless, I'm still interested in watching that stuff, whether or not I have time to dedicate to play it or not.
Gotcha. Yeah, it looks interesting. We're going to talk about it just a little bit more in the next quick shot. But I kind of look forward to these showcases just because I kind of get into like just what's going on with gaming and stuff like that. It's usually like I watch them for like 30 minutes and there's like 5 minutes or even less, like 2 minutes of cool shit. But yeah, the two main ones, and Redfall and Starfield could get also caught up in kind of the talked about in court with the whole Activision, Microsoft, Xbox deal. It could be wild.
Mhm.
But yeah, I guess the next one, I'll send it. The next one is actually talking about Redfall. So you mentioned how you hadn't heard much about it. Talk about it just a little bit. I guess like the overall premise of it, it's being made by Arcade, is that you're in a town. Believe it or not, the town's called Redfall. Spoiler alert.
Whoa.
Yeah, sorry guys. Sorry, I should have said something. The show stinks. And yeah, there's vampires try to take over, and then you have to like craft guns and everything and try to take him out. Essentially, I wasn't that excited about it, but this article talks about it playing similar to Far Cry. And
Okay.
I kind of like the Far Cry games a fair amount. And this guy's sniper rifle actually looks insane. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if you can see it very good. The guy on the left.
It's a large sniper rifle. That's for
It is a
sure.
large firearm. And anytime you have large firearms, I'm interested, okay? I'm going to take a look at it.
Probably not firing 22, that's for sure.
Yep. So I wanted to talk about it a little bit because I thought this was interesting. So in this article, another thing I learned in this article is Sports Illustrated apparently has a gaming section. So this is an article from Sports Illustrated. But it talks about how Arcane, the studio making Redfall, called in some of the developers from the Doom franchise to help them fine tune the FPS elements of the game. So I thought that was pretty cool because Doom knows how to make a first-person shooter. The article says, quote, to make sure the gunplay met and exceeded those expectations, the team brought in FPS experts from outside Arcane, including some of the development staff who work on Doom. One feature Bear believes will help Redfall stand out is how weapons tie in with the cursed town Redfall takes place in. He goes on to say, you can really customize your guns with random modifiers. You can also outfit them with vampire hunting tools, a rifle with a stake for a bayonet, maybe the only way to permanently end certain vampires. Excuse me, some have stake launchers with improvised ammo such as fireplace pokers, whilst others come with mounted UV lights. So, what they went on to say, this is what I thought. While some expected Redfall to be a Left 4 Dead with vampires, which is kind of what I thought, like just a zombie horde mode shooter, it sounds like it's going to have more of a story and a plot to it. And Smith and Bear told Game Trader it plays more like Far Cry. So it sounds like there might be some more quests and stuff to do to kind of overthrow the vampire gang. But it sounds like you can make some pretty wild weapons. I like zombie shooters and stuff. I don't think I've ever shot a vampire, I'll be honest with you. So I'd be all right. And it should run pretty good if the Doom folks are helping.
Yeah, I think that those guys, like you said, definitely know how to make good FPSs. So sounds pretty interesting. I want to see some gameplay.
There are a few on the trailers, like little snippets, not just like not like full out gameplay of a mission or anything like that.
Okay.
You ready for the next one?
I'm ready.
Boom. The next thing, this show is so trash. Oh my God. Okay. The next thing I wanted to talk about, you guys have probably heard about this, but I think it's kind of a big deal. Bungie was acquired by Sony a while back, a couple years ago. Was it a couple years ago? It seems like it. Maybe a year or so ago. And we didn't really hear anything about it. But this article and then covers one of the tweets by their studio head. Shared an update regarding his 11 years working on Destiny, culminating in more than 25 releases. He then followed up with a tweet, this is the big deal, in which he shared that there are several unannounced projects in the work at Bungie. So, Bungie makes Destiny. They were some of the original Halo developers and encouraged developers to apply for open roles within the company. With the support of Sony, we are working on a number of unannounced projects too. Come join us, he says in a follow-up tweet. And then if you'll recall tying this into another story, I know you guys watched the show. Okay, you're big Scope fans. You love it here. We've already talked about this. But one of the things to keep in mind here is that in October 2022, rumors circulated that the company may be rebooting its Marathon IP as an extraction-based Escape from Tarkov style FPS game. While industry insider Jeff Grubb shared that he'd also heard the same, there was little hard evidence to support the rumor. So that's one of the things that's allegedly one of the titles that they're going to be working on as far as a lot of projects. The article from PC Games In goes on to talk about a whole bunch of stuff about how they want to make Bungie a lot bigger studio with the support of Sony. Sounds like Sony's going to try to make like Bungie their Bethesda that like Microsoft has to make new games. But yeah, it sounds like the Marathon IP coming back, which I thought was cool. Marathon's super, super old IP coming back into, of course, an extraction based game. So yeah, Bungie sounds like Bungie's going to be making a lot of stuff.
I just Googled Marathon really quick because I haven't really heard of it. So, I mean, do we have any information on that IP? It looked pretty cool from the screenshots I saw. I don't know how old it is, but
it's pretty old.
That's something, if they brought that up as like a Tarkov extraction type thing, I think that'd be pretty neat.
Yeah, it's pretty old. I barely remember anything about it. Like when I was younger, and I'm old, like old. When I was younger, it came on my mom back in the day used to have like Macintosh computers, they were called at the time, and she got this Macworld magazine, and it came with a disc, like a demo disc, and there was like a little Marathon play thing on there, is what I remember, and I messed with it a little bit. So like, it's real old. I guess I could Google it.
It looks kind of, yeah. I can see some of this, like the art looks. I see some relatively new art, but then the game screens I'm seeing look pretty like old original Doom type stuff is what I'm seeing.
Yeah, 1994 for the Apple Macintosh. Yeah,
right, so pretty new.
Yeah, 1994, vintage,
love it.
So that's coming back in an extraction type mode.
That'd be pretty sweet, man. I some like semi-futuristic thing like that, or maybe far futuristic, just from what I'm seeing in the screenshots. I'm all for it.
It could be similar to the Cycle Frontier. It's a game I'm looking for those of you playing at home. The Cycle Frontier is like a futuristic extraction mode, but hopefully the game mode will keep evolving, right? People will see what works, what doesn't work, and that type of game will start to get better. The next one, you're ready for this one. You are.
Oh, I'm always ready.
Direct Contact.
Whoa, there it is.
You wanted this, has been asked for by Buff himself to talk about, and I want you to fill me in on what's going on.
So this game's still in I think I'm not sure if it's early access yet or where it is right now, but they did release some new gameplay on their channel the other day. And this is one of those indie titles that I am really, really looking forward to. This is a game that's just not only does it look amazing, I think they just changed it to Unreal Engine 4 to 5 later, the last half there of 2022. But this is like, if you're for like a grounded team-based experience, looks really, really good. Almost like a Ground Branch type game, but looks like a larger scale. You plan out missions and things like that. There's a firing range. You can call in air support. The weapon customization and everything like that looks great. So this is like a very, very grounded, realistic type mil sim for the most part, I would say. And you can see in the trailer that we're seeing here, the like being able to detain hostages, same thing we see in like Ground Branch and that stuff. So it looks amazing. I think the footage you guys are seeing here really doesn't do it justice. You go look at it and try and like up it into the highest resolution available on their channel and look at the full gameplay, because it's awesome. I was really impressed when I saw this gameplay just a couple of years ago. I was kind of blown away with how good it looked. So this, I think, is one of my more anticipated indie games, and you can see like the weapon builds and the attachments there. Like we see some 6-hour MCX Vertices, M4s, Mark 18. The builds just look super, super tactical and realistic. And this is one of those games, if you guys are a fan of like Sandstorm, things like that, it really kind of looks and feels like a large scale Sandstorm thing where there's one mission. So I think it's only PvE right now, but again, it's like you and a squad go in. So very similar to like something like Ground Branch in those games, but a lot larger of a scale. You can call in A-10 support, F-18 Hornets, Apache gunships, things like that. So there's a lot of cool things with this game. I'm really this looks like probably my ideal shooter. So this is one of those games I want it to come out fully, and then I want this ported over to consoles as well. So more people can get their hands on this, because it would be a shame if only the PC community got this. I think this is like a lot of console players' wet dream. I think if it just were to come out. So
What if the console players got PCs?
no,
I'm a bad person. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that.
crash.
I'm
You
sorry.
in your logic, okay? I don't know
I
where you
didn't
think
mean
you're
that.
coming from here,
I didn't
but
mean that. That was out of line. I apologize.
well,
I
you
look
hurt my feelings,
I
Crash.
look forward to your letters. So, two things I got out of that. One, the production team did a shitty job as usual picking the video to play. So,
No, no,
hope
the
they're
video is
happy.
great. I just think
Mm.
because we have it condensed down, because we have to have our ugly faces on here, you really can't see, like, you can't see it. What you want to do is go to and make it full screen and watch like gameplay in the trailer, and to get the full immersion, especially the sound. Like the sound effects are awesome. The audio they're doing is just mind blowing, especially when you're calling in A-10 support and stuff like that. And the explosions, like when you see explosions, wow, it really is pretty crazy. Like what Unreal Engine 5 is capable of is just very, very impressive.
Will you allow me to be an asshole for a minute?
Please.
Well, I'm not calling anybody out, but I've been weirded out by how tactical first person shooters are received. And it's this
Yeah.
thing I've been noticing lately. This game Enric, is called Direct Contact that we're looking at.
Yep.
One thing that I've been noticing, and I find it odd, is that there are a lot of YouTube channels that make videos about them, and these games get massive, massive views, hundreds of
Yeah.
thousands of views. But then when they come out, nobody plays them. It's so weird. Even Insurgency, even back when I played it a few years ago, you could make an Insurgency video like Abel Green, who made a lot of Insurgency content, great views, sometimes tens and hundreds of thousands of views. But every time I would log in to play it, it shows a player count, it'd be like 2,000 people. And then, I mean, even like we talked about Battlefield 3 mod, reality mod, everyone was
Yeah.
so excited about that one. And now you can't even find a server. And the views on those videos I don't know. It's just weird. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer or butthole.
I really think, and I see the same thing, and I agree with you. I really think a lot of, because this is an indie title, but Sandstorm, I mean, that's like, I don't know if you can consider it AAA, but that's
Probably
larger
AA.
than yeah, exactly. That's larger than an indie project. But I think the one thing with these indie titles is like the early access stuff like that might be hurting the hype a little bit, instead of just like the anticipation and then the big release. But I really think we're in the time where, because like you said, Sandstorm's a great point. That came out on PC, and I remember I was watching it on like Twitch at the time, and I was like, man, I want to play this so bad. It looks amazing. And I didn't have my PC at the time, so I couldn't. I really think the market for these types of shooters on consoles is huge, and we just can't get our hands on them. So that's the whole reason I ended up getting, I got a streaming PC, but I wanted to make sure I was able to play some of these games. Like World War III was the first one I was like, holy crap, I need a PC to play this. Sandstorm, all that. And Sandstorm came out on console. Like, I don't know what the player count is, but we were always finding games with new players and having a blast. So I really think like something like this, I mean, the potential and I think the hype that you see on the views seem like they're relatively good, especially on some of the gameplay that we see from the other channels who are testing it and stuff. But if they were to be able to release on every platform, I think that would, and I don't know if you do crossplay or not, but I think really having it available only on PC or like only console just hurts the game, you know?
I think that's always going to be a problem if that's the case, and that makes sense. There's a bunch of people that can't play it. That could be why a lot of Tarkov viewership's really high, because console folks can't play it. But I
You
think
look
that's
at you look at any Tarkov video and everyone's like, is this on console? When's it coming to console? That's what everyone always asks if they don't have PC.
yeah. I think that's always going to be an issue. Like if you're a
Yeah.
console player and you truly want to play these games,
Hmm.
because I mean, as a solo or indie developer studio, it's so much easier to develop for PC. You get
Hmm.
it on Steam, and you can do yourself. It's
Right.
way harder to get a dev kit for console, import that
Hmm.
over, and it's way harder to update. And I think that's going to be an issue, um, for forever probably. But that makes sense. I didn't think of that. I'm an idiot.
But I also think content, because I know like Sandstorm, is to stay with that example, like content has been just kind of like on life support, I'd say. And when they do come out with the new seasons and stuff, it's just like, there's not a whole lot there. It's like two weapons and some clothes and some maps. I mean, granted, one of the updates they did previously was huge, but content is king. You look at Call of Duty as an example. The player base can be like weaning off, but whenever there's a new season, everyone's back on. So I really think like
And indie studios can't keep up with that either.
they can't. So that's a problem. If a double A studio like who's making Sandstorm can't bring out like an insane amount of content, I don't know. I really think that's one of the big factors as well, because once, like you mentioned with Sandstorm, that initial push with the videos and lots of views, then everything dies off because everybody's seen it all. And I know ISMC mod, when that came out, like the views for that were crazy, hundreds of thousands on some of the guys' videos, and then after everyone had seen it and experienced it, those views get lower and lower and lower. But like things like new weapons, a lot of new weapons, cosmetics. That's what like the player base for these type of games, I feel like, wants something. They want different content than what like you're getting from a bigger game like Call of Duty. They want more weapons. They want more cosmetics, things like that, and just gameplay features is like the big thing, because the tactical shooter communities, they want different things. So that's something that needs to be delivered.
Okay. But still being an asshole. Also, I feel like there's also a group of people, sometimes myself included, that's like, dude, I want a super hardcore game. Like I want it to be so like real. And then you
Hmm.
play it and you're like, oh shit, this is kind of hard and not as fun as I thought it would be. And
Yeah.
like a lot of games like that, which are great, like Squad, Insurgency, they take time like to
Yeah.
get over that hump to where you find the joy in it, to where you get used to it,
Right.
because you have to play completely different. And I feel like there's also a fair amount of people that don't make it through that first learning curve. And I've been a little bit guilty of that, but I played a fair amount of Insurgency on PC and I did really enjoy it. Same with Tarkov. I got through that, and Squad too. I played a decent amount of Squad and really enjoy that. And it's just it's a different mindset, and it's a completely different way to play. And I think sometimes people aren't ready for that when they start. And that's me talking completely out of my ass. So there you go.
No, yeah, I think you're right. It's like, I think that's also a lot to do with where our society is. It's like quick rewards. That's why I think Call of Duty does so well, is just
Yeah,
you can be
it's
rewarded
accessible.
quickly.
Everyone can play.
Yeah, but I think, to your point, when you put in the time to these games that have a large learning curve, it's so rewarding when you learn it and you can get to that point where you're just having a blast. I love those kind of games. Like when I like having to get in there and not know what the heck's going on, and it takes like weeks or months for me to get to a spot where I'm like good and everything. I like the games with large learning curves. I think it's much more rewarding when you do that, but that's not for everybody. So I don't know, but there's more
Agreed.
enough of a large community out there to keep these games popular. So it really just kind of comes down. I don't know what the answer is. I mean, you bring up a good point. I don't know what the answer is. I really think content is also a big problem too.
Yeah, I just think, and I think we did it. I think we did an exquisite job of illustrating some of the issues with tactical indie games. There's a fair amount of them, and they look awesome, and we all want them to succeed. But there's just some of those built-in problems, like the challenge to
Hmm.
get to console, the learning curve to enjoy them that people aren't always ready for, like all that stuff. The
Yeah,
inability to keep up with content that people are used to with AAA games, like
right.
So I
But
just wanted to address those, and I think we did a great job.
and I know we're staying with Quickshot, so I'll make this really, really quick. Look at World War III. I think World War III, if that were available on Xbox and PlayStation, those player numbers would be through the roof. So,
But I think I think the people bitching on Twitter about the lack of content would also be through the roof because people are used to those AAA games on console getting maps all the time. It's like, dude, World War III needs content, man. Like they've had one new map in 5 years. 5 years, and they've added a map.
So there's the prime example of content, right?
Yeah, that's the content. There's these 3 things working against them, and there's a bunch of people rooting for them. So we'll see. Hopefully, someone can get it figured out because it's a huge challenge. And that's where my whole rabbit hole of procedurally generated maps comes into that we will not talk about now because I could talk about it for a really long time. All right, are you ready for the next?
I'm ready.
Quickshot. Yeah, well, you might be ready, but the production team isn't.
Uh-oh.
So the next thing I wanted to talk about is how I've gotten everything demonetized by saying cuss words today. Have you heard about have you had any problems with the new YouTube demonetization stuff?
I have not. I try not to swear too much, but I don't know. I don't know. I haven't had issues with it yet, so hopefully tonight's not the first.
There's been a lot of stuff. They've behind the scenes, the policy hasn't changed the wording of it. They have added a couple things like the more you say you can't. I'm just kidding. So you add they've changed like the S word is the same as the F word, and then they are really starting to like limit ads and age restrict creators videos who haven't had that before. The other scary thing that they changed is a lot of video games have been getting hit with limited ads and demonetized for gore and violence for just video gameplay. That's always, I mean, there's literally YouTube gaming for playing video games. But I've been watching some Asmongold React stuff, one of my guilty pleasures, and there's been a lot of large content creators, even playing MMOs with like sword fighting and stuff, that have been demonetized, and they've talked to their big channels. So I mean, it's a lot of money that they're losing,
right?
And they're talking to their YouTube reps, and they're saying, "Yeah, we looked at it again. Here you can see you were fighting this character with a sword. There was blood." So they're age restricting stuff. It's really sketchy.
That's really weird. I don't like that at all. I think that's why would that be?
Why'd they change?
They put him. Yeah, why would they change it like that when people have built channels on that? And then it's like, oh, sorry, you built your identity with this, but now you can't make money from it. What? How does that make any sense?
So yeah, so in this Deserto article, there's a whole bunch of creators that tweet out like showing their ads getting limited ads because of profanity, talking about South Park, showing South Park clips, and just gaming demonetization. RT Daniel was the one who I was talking about. So he's literally just playing like even like what I would consider like more youth oriented games in every single one of his videos. 1.1 million, 465,000, 1.2 million, 2.8 million. All these games, like he's playing Smash Brothers, and they got ad suitability, they got age restricted. The first one I guess was the Quarry, a horror game that he was playing and making fun of. And he goes on to talk about it. Moist Critical's talked, all those super large content creators talked about it. I was just curious if you'd seen anything like that. But yeah, the main thing I guess they're saying from YouTube is don't cuss in the first 8 seconds of your video, because that'll like automatically get you limited ads. And then yeah, it's crazy. It could be a big deal. And the other thing is the head of YouTube gaming used to be Fwiz, and the one that's now is so much more quiet on like social media and less interactive. So you don't really know like if it's something they're aware of, if it's a back end change that they don't even realize is messing with people, because they're not really communicating at all. So it's just sketchy and something for people to keep an eye out about.
I mean, now that you're saying this, I just looked at my creator dashboard, and I have like one of my live streams. Got hit with monetization for $. It's like saying snuff, but it says $NUFF content found during 44:14 through 44:15. So a whopping 31 seconds of something made the entire 2-hour stream ineligible for money. That's cool. Love that.
So that's apparently happening. It doesn't hurt me too
Neat.
much. My channel stinks and I make chicken nugget money from YouTube, but like I'm worried for a lot of creators, a lot of larger creators and stuff. That's
And
shitty.
it doesn't even say ad revenue paid to copyright owner. Like, and so at that point in time, I am at the menus of the game. So that's neat. I can't wait to watch that and see. It's not telling me. Yeah, that's stupid, dude. Literally,
Yeah.
okay. So it's in the middle of like gameplay, and apparently there's
Weird.
copyrighted material that someone claimed. So that's cool. Love that.
Weird, man. Yeah, there's a lot of sketchy stuff going on, and then they changed that and tons of creators. And I don't even know if it's a bug that they're not aware of, because that RT Daniel, who had all those views on those videos, talked to a rep and they personally reviewed it. And after they reviewed the Corey one, they demonetized, like they limited the rest of them on his channel. So it's like, yeah, it seems like YouTube does like a 1 step forward, 2 steps back thing all the time. Like they do some really cool stuff for gaming and discoverability with like shorts and stuff like that for gaming creators, and then they do shit like this, and it's just shoot, man!
Come on, darn, dang, name it, blah blah blah.
They do stuff like this.
What's like a non-curse word, like dang nabbit?
Dadgummit, man. I'm always like cheese and rice.
Cheese and yeah. What do we start saying now?
God dandruff.
Jeez.
I don't know.
God dandruff.
So yeah, it's
what the flip?
Shut the flip. Front door, man. I don't know.
I can't believe it. That's such a poo-poo thing.
It's trash. It's trash. So anyway, that's going on. Something to keep an eye out. Me and Buff are gonna have to watch our mouths because we make so much money from this show.
Like, I just gotta say, like, man, ain't nobody saying Twitch isn't much better. And like that's true, but also Twitch lets like girls pretty much be naked in hot tubs showing their tits to everybody. But okay.
Dude, Twitch
is just like backwards. I don't know what's
Twitch is jacked, man. I swear when
like OnlyFans, but also you can't swear.
Everything they do at Twitch is RNG, man. Like
it's crazy,
they're just like, this person did something bad. Let's roll a dice, and this is how long they get banned. That one girl got caught having intercourse, like legit intercourse, and it was like 5 or 6 days.
Yeah, just have sex on stream. 5-day ban. I just can't imagine like being a parent today and be like, oh yeah, mom, just watching like these gamers on Twitch, and like you're basically, if you're like a young teen, like that's basically porn to you. Like, I mean, it is pretty much porn to me. Like at my age now, it's like. Oh, you're not on. Oh, it's okay. Little Billy's not on Pornhub. He's just watching, so and so on Twitch, and it's just like hot tub stream, and the girls like ASMR.
Oh, dude, that stuff is so weird, man.
I'm gonna eat some food.
All right.
Sorry, I didn't mean to get you guys all hot and bothered there. Whoa, cool down. Turn the fans on, guys.
That was steamy. Wow.
Whoa.
I think you have a future in it. So maybe
I might. Maybe I need to go over to Twitch full time. Maybe that's.
But they make so much money doing that, and the people that send money to that is so weird. That's a whole thing. Just that's not a quick shot at all.
Suck on the microphone and shit. Oh god, darn! I swore.
It's bad, man. It's bad. All right, the next one. Let's move on, because we could get the whole Twitch thing forever. We're gonna get banned anyway. I wanted to talk. We only have a couple more. Thanks for hanging out with us on this not so quick shot episode. The other thing I wanted to talk about is where Tarkov's at recently, and I get a lot of my Tarkov news and kind of what's going on in the community from the podcast with Jesse Kazam and Veritas. They have an awesome show. I don't know if you guys watch it. If you guys are interested in Tarkov, it's fun to listen to those guys talk. They're super awesome creators. And it's just like such a mixed bag with Tarkov. I played it. I'm a level 3 Tarkover. I did no 4. I did a few raids and got a couple quests done, just to check it out. And it runs like hot garbage, dude. Like I didn't even go to Streets yet. And the audio, they completely jacked the audio, dude. Like, Veritas did a video. What's the matter?
I just laugh. I'm just laughing about.
What's your
Just laughing
problem,
at you.
man?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Continue. Ignore
Um,
me.
so yeah, Streets does look sick at 20 frames a second with a massive memory leak. Um, so yeah, it's like, dude, it's so jacked. The audio. Veritas did a really cool video where you actually listen. He has a straw poll in the comments and he plays different clips of the game, and you have to try to tell where the audio is. It's multiple guess, like where they're at. And he put some in with the old Steam engine, and like 90% of people got it right, like front, back, left, right. And then with the new engine, he played some of the same clips, and like it was just 50-50 split or third split. Like nobody knew, it was all random. So like the audio is bad.
Yeah.
I experienced it firsthand. I swore someone was in front of me and I got smoked in the back of the head. Like I heard him in bushes and shoot, and I thought they were in front of me. I was looking this way and I just got domed in the back of the head. He was actually behind me.
That happened. I haven't played this wipe, but I mean, even the past couple wipes since I think they did like Steam audio, it's been crazy. Like the audio used to be really, really good in Tarkov, and then, like you said, it's just really random. You'll think somebody's in front of you, and they'll be behind you and like above you. It seems like you said, it's kind of 50-50 if you're hearing them in the right spot or not. I was watching Pestilli, and he was saying the same thing.
Yep, it's bad. And then what else was I gonna say? The Streets map is running terrible. I even watched some streamers playing it, and they were saying to get like 30 frames, they were having to restart the game every time they queued in. It'll take like 15 minutes to wait. And then yeah, the memory leaks bad. So like as you start playing, it just gets worse. And like every time scavs spawn in, like player scavs, the server hangs for everybody for like a second.
God.
So like you can tell like when all that stuff goes down. And it's just like it's running rough. And then they just add some really cool content. Streets is like a crazy cool map. And then it's plagued by all these issues that have been a problem. They talked about how the scavs have been like lasering people 150 meters through bushes. Like not fun at all. And then a lot of gameplay balance issues with like how crazy the soft skills are, like how big the difference is. Like the game is about looting. But you can't even like carry a bunch of stuff out. Like if you're a level 1 and you're trying to get a bunch of loot and you get just a modest amount of stuff in a small backpack, like you can't walk, you can't even run. Like it makes it not fun at all. So there's just a lot of problems with it. I was sorely disappointed in the audio performance, but it is a 1-on-1 game. I don't want to sound like it's all trash. They added some cool stuff. They added some cool guns, the AUG and the shrimp conversion. And yeah, some people are amped. It seems like a lot of the veterans are bummed with how everything feels, and then like a lot of new players are like, this is the coolest shit ever, which I was too, I will admit, when I first started. And then some of that stuff starts wearing on you after a while, I feel like.
Yeah, performance is definitely a big thing. I mean, maybe it sucks, but that's just unfortunately probably a map people are going to need to like semi avoid until it gets sorted out a little bit more. I mean, the good thing is there's a lot of really good maps that play really well. So obviously everybody just wants to play Streets because we've been waiting forever for it. But if it's that bad, I wonder if Battlestate will like take it down for a while, which I don't think they would do. I think we'll just see additional patches, which Battlestate, I'll give them credit. I mean, they do a lot of stuff and they're very transparent about like, hey, we're doing overnight patches, game will be unavailable. So it seems like they're always on top of what they're doing. Hopefully they can get this one sorted out, because I think this is the first new map and since I've been playing. What was the last new map? I mean, there's been expansions, but I can't remember.
Lighthouse wasn't too long ago. That was with the 12-12 wipe last year.
Lighthouse. Okay. That wasn't.
And then
before that,
it was
like reserve, maybe? I
Yep.
can't remember.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
It was reserved.
Yes. So yeah, I've been playing for a couple years at this point. So new maps, everybody always wants to jump in.
Yeah.
maybe just the sheer amount of people queuing is also causing problems, but it seems like there's a lot of issues.
I'm sure it
Hopefully
is.
they get it sorted out.
Yeah, I do too. And it's kind of a shame since they got delayed several years to get to Streets.
Yeah.
Like it kind of became a meme, and then a lot of the reason behind it was the need for optimization, and then it comes out and it's still just
Yeah.
rough. And I'm not saying, like, I've said it before, there is so much going on netcode wise with Tarkov, like absolutely insane.
There always
Amount of
has
stuff
been
going on.
though.
Oh, I
There's
know.
always been.
But I mean, I think even more
Kicker's
so on
advantage.
Streets, because there's like so much more there's so much more loot, there's a lot more
Mhm.
player scavs, there's just so much more information for the server to keep track of.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been pretty rough. I get it.
Yeah. I need to upgrade my PC before I can jump back in, unfortunately. The game has become too much for my 3-year-old streaming PC to handle.
Yeah, I was talking to my buddy Walt, who's been on the show before, and he's like, I just saw a guy playing Streets at 120 frames. I was like, really? What was his rig? He's like, he had a 4090 with an i1300K or 14900K or whatever their latest one is, and like 13900K and DDR5 6800 RAM, and I was like,
Nice.
oh, okay, so like a $9,000 machine, and you're playing, so cool.
You're good to go, man.
Cool. Yeah, so the last thing I wanted to talk about. Yeah, I just wanted to talk about how wild Tarkov's been. This has been a wild one. We got some new game. I gotta give it say with straight face. We got some new gameplay from the day before. Have you seen this stuff?
I did, yeah.
Any of the coverage of it and stuff?
I did, yep.
Actually really wild. What's up, Blue? Hey man. Yeah, Tarkov's perfect. Hop in. It's great. It's 1.0 release. Just get in there. You'll love it. Yeah, so the day before, this has gotten tons of coverage from like Big Fry and others. A lot of FPS YouTubers have talked about it. It is sketchy as okay. It's real sketchy. One of the things that people notice is so NVIDIA, and it gets really weird because this is a game that's been delayed by a year. It's allegedly supposed to come out in March, I believe, and everyone was talking about it. It's the second most wishlisted game on Steam. We don't even really know exactly. They call it like an FPS MMO, but we don't even know what the gameplay loop is like or anything. And it's just really sketchy. It's been a lot of cutscenes, a lot of pre-rendered stuff. People, I mean, the graphics have been stunning, but they almost all look pre-rendered, so they're really sketchy. Supposed to be an Unreal 5. And so everyone was thinking instant scam. They have a lot of weird videos that they've posted about Fnatic. And then Big Fry's video, he talked about, and I watched it after the NVIDIA CES keynote where they posted a little bit of gameplay. So what's weird is we all thought this was a scam, and then NVIDIA got behind it. So everybody's like, so is it legit now? Because like NVIDIA's showing it off with DLSS 3 and stuff. It's like, and it's going to be on GeForce Now and stuff like that. So like maybe, I mean, you would think they would have to show NVIDIA some stuff, like some gameplay that it's actually a real game. But then they put out the day in the life video from their studio and how they're working all across. And essentially all it was they were promoting an app that they make, a collaboration app, random shots of people like all around the world sitting on Lenovo laptops, which was a sponsor. So they were pushing their, and then they're pushing their partnerships and their other app. And then they were talking about like, how they were all volunteers, which is something we've talked about on the show before, which is weird. And then they talked about this guy was getting evicted from his apartment. And it's like, well, you don't pay him anything. Like, just the weirdest video, dude. And like, it showed one of them being a DJ. And then the marketing guy, he's like, yes, I'm responsible for the marketing. And I'm on their app, on their software they're pushing. And he's like, I'm responsible for the marketing and I'm a volunteer. It's like, dude, it's so weird. I get such bad vibes from it. And at this point, I'm like, it's I'm sitting there with my popcorn. Like, what's this gonna be?
I'm kind of like blown away because yeah, I mean what they're showing looks great, but I agree, especially that gameplay they showed last week in that trailer looked extremely pre-rendered. I mean, this game's been going on for a while, and I'm just thinking like it's really strange we haven't seen like some sort of actual gameplay demo because this is clearly, some of this third person shooting that we're seeing in some of that, and even the first person stuff just looks very really really pre-rendered. There's something going on. Like they
It's
haven't
so
they haven't
weird, man.
shown they haven't shown like straight gameplay at all, which is
Yeah, and it comes
just, I
out
mean,
allegedly in like 2 months, and
oh well, getting some 2042 vibes already.
it's so weird. If they do anything, guys, if they do a pre-order thing, if they
Don't
do
do
like
it.
a Kickstarter or Indiegogo or something, just stay away, dude. Like if they
Yeah.
do a GoFundMe, I just warning you guys. And I would have been like 100% on the this is a scam train, but then Nvidia came in. And it's like so weird, dude. It's so weird. It's just gonna be. I'm just kind of like sitting back and watching. Like, how is this gonna play out? I have no
Yeah.
clue.
Watch it just be this like game of the year massive success or something. That's unlikely though, but that would
Well,
be
I
pretty
don't know. I always say stuff and then the opposite happens. So maybe.
funny.
And then you
It
can make a
could.
YouTube video that Crash is responsible for the success of day before. You all are welcome. So that's the last news story I had. It's a crazy one. Okay, I'll ask you before we get off of it. Do you think it's a scam or do you think it's a legit game? Do you think there's like anything there with like the Nvidia news and the weird videos and
I mean, there's got to be something there, but for something that's supposed to be coming out in 2 months and they haven't shown like straight up this is what the game is yet. Like from all I've seen and watched, I really don't know what the game like is supposed to be and stuff yet, and we haven't seen gameplay. So I think it's going to be a real thing, but I think it's going to be not at all what they're showing, if that makes sense.
cool.
So I guess it's a scam on some level for sure.
Something's got to be weird.
Yeah, something's going to be off with it.
I mean, it's one of those things. If it's too good to be true, it probably is, and those are the vibes
Yeah.
that I get.
Right.
All right. Well, if you guys have anything in chat you would like to talk about, chat Q&A, you got a second for that, Buff?
Yep. Let's do it.
Cool. First off, thank you guys so much for being here. Really, really, really appreciate you guys. We're 30 minutes later than usual. I was busy. Buff was busy. We're here. So we appreciate you guys being a little bit flexible and popping in. The chat is always awesome. I really enjoy listening to you guys. And what's up? Also, the podcast has been doing really good. The audio version, so that is a thing if you guys are interested in that. And we're just gonna keep. I say it every week, but we're gonna keep trying to get better with the show. Buff and I have some ideas, and we just want to keep getting better. We want this to be a really well produced and cool FPS news show. So yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it, guys.
Anthem ? God, I hope not. Earthy Teddy, what's the first gun you guys bought shot? You want to?
Well, AR-15, 100%.
Nice. So the
pretty standard response, I think, here in most of America, but we'll see. Maybe Crash will prove me wrong.
I mean, how far back are we going, man? The first gun I shot would have been I have it actually, still. It's a Remington 510 Target Master 22, bolt action single shot 22. And then my first gun that was mine that I had the Daisy BB gun, lever action, not a Red Ryder, the cheaper one, when I was like 4. And then first gun I bought, man. My first gun I bought was in middle school on my birthday. I bought a Benelli Nova, pump action 12 gauge for hunting. And then the next gun I bought, very expensive, a Target shotgun, a Krieghoff KX5 German handmade shotgun in high school. I didn't play sports. I worked so I could buy fancy shotguns. I have some really fancy shotguns.
Yeah, you're a shotgun guy.
Yeah, that's what I did competitively, and then in college, competed in college in shotgun shooting and all that stuff. So yeah.
Man named Nobody says his first weapon was an F2000 and an MX9 at a range at a mall. That's
They have
pretty
ranges
crazy.
at malls.
I don't know what mall that is, but I need to go there. But an F2000, I mean, F2000, that's crazy that that's at a at a range period.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
That's actually wild. No, I've never shot one of those for sure. I
Yeah,
just
I'd
like I'm
love to.
not crazy into rifles. I got into it later. Like I was all like shotgun shooting, practicing shotgun shooting. And then in college, I shot on a team, on a league team, like a local traveling team with an older guy who was a sponsored shooter for Colt, competitive pistol shooter. And he kind of got me into that and like kind of taught me how to shoot handguns. And then I got into it a little bit more. And the range that we had by our college had a lot of iron. And then I did like a couple 3-guns with friends, 3-gun competitions. Those were really fun. I suck at it, but they're fun. I was good at the shotgun part. And then yeah, got into more like rifles and stuff like later in life with building ARs and my lever guns. And then I have my handguns, a few of those. I'm a big 1911 fan.
Oh yeah, I've never shot a 1911, but I would love to.
That's what that one is on the wall.
Beautiful.
Oh, you can see it. It's a Wilson Combat.
Oh yeah, that's
Wilson.
really nice.
Wilson.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's a good one.
Those are good. Yeah, those are sweet.
It's fun to shoot. Glock guy, look out.
Teddy loves Glocks.
Careful. A lot of people do. They're all right.
I've never shot one, but I really haven't shot that many pistols, but I've shot a few. But
the other thing, so you're familiar with like shotgun gauges, right? Like the lower the number, the bigger the gauge.
Mhm.
Everybody shoots 12 gauge. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a few 10 gauges, and then so bigger than 12, and then my dad has a 8 gauge. Have you ever seen an 8 gauge around?
No.
So
big boy.
So this is a standard 12 gauge target load. This is an 8 gauge.
Oh my god.
So I don't know. I have these here because they're funny to play with.
Holy crap.
So this is an 8 gauge. This one here.
Is that for killing dinosaurs or what?
So they're really cool. So I get into like the history of like old large bore shotguns. That's what they used to use back in the days, waterfowl hunting for market hunters. So back in the day, like early 1900s, a job you could have was a market hunter. Like you hunted waterfowl for your job. Like you hunted waterfowl, cleaned them, sold the meat to restaurants and stuff out east. So like that was a thing. So they used these massive shotguns, some of them called punt guns, which were like attached to the boat. And some of them are like 6 inches in diameter, just these massive guns. And they would be in these little boats, and they'd sneak out in on like the larger lakes, like some on the Great Lakes and stuff, like in amongst all these big piles of ducks and geese. And then when the sun would rise in the morning, they'd just be in amongst them, sleep it, and then they just torch that thing off and then go pick them all up.
Jesus.
So like I got into the history of like large bore shotguns, and they're pretty cool. My dad has a really neat one.
Yeah, it's pretty big. It's quite a bit larger than a 12 gauge.
I like my 10 gauges quite a bit. Big 10 gauge fan.
That's pretty insane.
I need to do some range streams from the range shooting shotguns. I have sporting clays courses around here, and we shoot sporting clays like once or twice a month at least.
Oh, there you go.
That'd be pretty fun. But yes, it'd be sweet. 45 is God caliber. It is. It's God's caliber. I love a 45. Yep. But yeah, that's about all I know. Does anybody have anything else they would like to discuss? This was kind of a thrown together episode, but it was pretty fun.
Yeah, it's always good just to like talk through things.
Yeah,
I like these types of episodes.
I do too. They're kind of chill, but still a lot of fun, and we get some news stories to talk about and just kind of shoot the shit, talk with chat.
Exactly.
And it's pretty sweet.
Over the top or side stop? Man, and nobody asked.
Probably over the top, just like the movie.
There you go. Do it, John Wick. Do it, John Wick style.
That's right. I'm like, I don't know. I'm not the fastest at that kind of stuff.
I love his reloads in that because he'll load and then flip it over his shoulder and load underneath, and then just like then I think it was John Wick 2 he was doing that. It was just like really cool to see.
Yep.
If you ever watch Keanu Reeves like on the range training for those movies, holy crap. Dude's a beast.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, he trained at that wherever that big range is where all those celebrities go and do those runs all the time.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I'm just like so trash compared to a lot of people that do it competitively at handgun shooting. Like it's not my thing. But yeah. I got some yeah. I don't know if I should do a video on my shotgun collection sometime.
You should, man.
But the best advice I got from the professional shooter for Colt was, so like, I don't know if you guys can see. So like you shoot a shotgun like this, right? Like you're like this. He's like, okay, you're good at that, right? And I'm like, I'm okay. And he's like, well, so for you, just take your backhand and put it with your front hand. That's how you shoot your pistol. And I'm like, oh, like, so then like everything clicked for me, and I just kind of pretended it was a long gun, and then
something so simple yet
yeah,
so like not you would never think of it like that probably.
Like that's what he taught me, and it's just like, holy shit, like then it got a lot easier. I just pictured it like that, like a whole new way to look at it.
That's pretty intense. That's cool.
Helped quite a bit. So yeah, guys. I guess I am standing, Lib. I am standing. Got my standing desk up, man. It's sweet.
Fancy.
I get into it. Nobody
standing
loves
desk
shotguns.
supremacy.
That's right. Master race. But yeah. Anyway, guys, I guess that's it. I guess I was supposed to do a let's ride since I'm wearing my Broncos hat to sign us out.
Do it.
So, all right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We should be back next week. Hoping to get some guests on the show. Keep getting better. We love you all. Thanks for being here. And remember, guys, Scope Country, let's ride.